Hi, welcome back. So now that we've created our first commit, we're actually going to be looking at moving between our commits, because all we can do now is commit and look at our commits. We can't really do anything with it. The whole point of having source control is being able to track your history. And what's the point of tracking your history if you can't go back and see what's there? So let's go ahead and check it out. So there is actually a very special feature in Git called checkout, which allows you to move between branches, commits, all sorts of stuff like that. We're going to look at it in this video. So I held on to my statement at the end of last video, and I did actually add a few more commits. So I did a few things with these commits. I removed some files. You can see I modified text and deleted the website. I added a new website and some new website functionality. So we're going to be going through and looking at this in the video. So here's an imaginary scenario for you. Let's say I created this website and I worked on it and stuff, but I then deleted the website because I wanted to start a new one. So I did all of that, but then I realized that the new website wasn't really what I was looking for. So what if I want to go back in time and look at my old website to see and compare if they match up and see if I'm really making a mistake here. And then if I am making a mistake, I can revert and go back to my old website. I'll show you that in the next video. So let's go ahead and do that. So what you want to do is, first of all, let's talk about the head system. So there's this thing called the head, which is pretty much a pointer that allows you, it's basically your point in time. So right now the head is at the master branch, which is the latest commit on the master branch. So the one that you start off with, that you work with towards the end. So right now it's on the master, which means we're at pretty much the working directory. We're at our current point in time. But I actually can move this head around to different points in time. I'll show you what I mean by that in just a second. So let's go ahead and talk about Git checkout. What does it do? How do we work with it? So let's go ahead and do this. Basically, what we can do with checkout is paste in a certain commit ID, which is why we're using the log here, and go back in time to that commit. And we're going to actually see the changes happen here in our software folder, in our repository. So let's go ahead and do that. First thing I want to do is go ahead and copy the commit that I want to revert to. So it's right here. It's modified text and deleted website. So this is the commit where I deleted my website. Now, we don't actually want to use this. We want to use where we actually have the old website. So let's go ahead and do that. But again, it's totally up to you which commit you want to move back to. Let's just say maybe you made a big error in your text and you want to move back to when you first created the file. This is why the message in the commits are useful, because if you don't have something like source tree, you can't actually look at the changes that you have. So it's really useful to have some in-depth messages. Now, they don't have to be entire paragraphs, just a quick phrase summarizing what's happening so that you know which commit to go back to. So I'm going to go back all the way to my initial commit. Now remember, doing this does not delete our commits. We're just going back in time. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's how you do it. You do git, then checkout, and then after that, you paste in the name of the ID or the commit that you want to check out, just like that. And once we do that, we press enter, and there we go. You said you're in a detached head state. This means that the head is in a different commit. So if we actually look at git log, just do this for you really quick, you can see that our head is at our initial commit. Now remember, this doesn't delete it. This means we just went back in time, which means you can't actually see anything. So this is really cool. Now remember, if you go ahead, and I'm just going to give you a little example here. For example, let's say you go to your C drive and you create a Git repository. By the way, that's a very bad idea. Never do that. Let's say I create a commit, right? So I create it, everything's working. Now what I'm going to do is, after maybe a year or so of using my computer, I make another commit, and then I revert all the way back to the commit I made 1 year ago. That is going to shift all of the changes you made back to that state in time. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't go back. With a checkout, you can. With a revert, you can't. That's a different situation. We'll talk about that in the next video. But it will move all of your changes. You're basically almost in a time machine. You're going back in time to 1 year ago when you made that commit. Okay, so you can already see that there's a few changes. You saw this new website file that we had. It's no longer there. We can't find it because we went back in time to our original commit about 20 minutes ago. So this is really cool, and I really like checkout. It's one of the best features that we have, because what you can actually do is go through and look at everything at that current state in time. So you can see that this file is empty, and up here in this log it says modified text and deleted website, but this is later in our file, so nothing is here. So for example, let me just say I wanted to check out the other one here. And I'm not going to do it, but let's just say I just paste this commit ID in, and I go and I check it out, and then that file will be there. So let me just go through and teach you how to do that. So if you want to go to, for example, this commit where you modify the text, let's say you had some important text in there that you deleted, and you want to get it back. So the first thing you want to do is go back to the top level. What you would do is git checkout, and then the name, you would type master. So this would take you all the way back up to the master branch, which is the latest commit, just like that. And there you go. Now you can see all of our files are there. We have our text, everything here. So now we're back up here. So now I want to go back down to where we deleted the website. So I'm going to go git log, and we're going to find that commit. Right there it is, modified text and deleted website. We're going to copy that. I'm going to go git checkout, and then right click. And then we're going to click enter. That is going to give us the whole detached head state. And now you can see that that website is gone, because deleted website, that little summary is giving us a sort of rundown of what we did in that commit. So there we go. Now we can go and look around, maybe look for the information you have. But once you have it, and once you've made your comparisons and looked at everything, all you have to do is go git checkout master, and that will take you straight back up to your latest commit. So now you can see we don't have any detached head because we're back up at the top. We've come back to the present, and our head is in the correct place. So there we go. That's pretty much all there is to know about checkout. Of course, we're going to use checkout in the future with branches, which makes it a lot more complex. But for now, we're only using one branch. So you can only go up and down. You can't really go left and right and diagonal. So once we introduce branches, this becomes a lot more complex. So I'm going to take you through step by step in the next section about going through branches and everything to do with that. But for now, we've learned a little bit about checkout. So I encourage you to go and move up and down through your commits so that you know what's going on. And from there, we can pretty much do whatever we want. Let's just say, for example, we make like 10 new commits, and we don't want to, we want to go back in time to one of them to copy some important code or cache that we had in one of the files. You can do that, and it will work perfectly. So yeah, that's pretty much it for checkout and moving between commits. In the next video, we're going to be going over actually reverting. So we're going to completely erase the history. So let's just say we go back in time to the 1800s, and we set that as the present time. So we're going to go through, and I'm going to explain some of the dangers with git revert. All right, let's move on.